Hello and welcome back. I am Chamberlain, joined by Middle yet again for the second map of our lower bracket semi-final, and it is of course Granny's Knockers versus Control just now. And Granny's Knockers, they've just won one map, so if you were joining us for that, it was 13-5. So heading into the second map, it will be Fracture. We'll have a look at the map veto very quickly, just so to give you a little reminder as to who did what and what we're kind of set up for. Right now, of course, the first map was Ascent, went to Control Esports, or sorry, it went to Granny's Knockers 13-5. It was Control's pick though, that's the kind of more dramatic part of it. And yeah, Fracture's now going to be coming up for Granny's Knockers, and then Decider will be bind if we get there, but Granny's Knockers look pretty convincing, I think.
Definitely, I'm really looking forward to seeing Granny Knockers play on Fracture again. Seeing that Phoenix pick perhaps come out even stronger than last time. How many more running backs can we get this time? What was it last time? Like
there was a
4 or 5?
Yeah, there was a few. There was a few running backs. Yeah, I think I'll get a few bits of the Phoenix. A few plays with Phoenix. Yeah, I've enjoyed a few. Yeah, but I'm excited to go. It's going to be the second to last game for the evening. We'll have the lower bracket final after that. Whoever wins this will go on to face Bleak. Not the most exciting one because I don't think people expected to be Bleak in the lower bracket final. They were expected to go straight through. A little bit of a kind of upset, I guess, if you want to call it that, with them losing earlier on to Yari, who are through to that grand final. So yeah, not the greatest situation, but I think Granny's Knockers, they'll be on the hunt for a little bit of revenge against them.
Definitely, yeah.
Them, so.
I think this is, Granny Knockers are really determined now.
Yeah.
After seeing Bleak be wounded,
yeah,
they've had unstoppable win streak throughout this competition,
yeah,
but then to fall to Yari at the last hurdle.
Yeah. We're going to go to game though. And we're ready to go.
Straight into agent picks.
Fracture. We're ready to go.
Okay, yeah, so standard picks again for Fracture. We're looking at Breach, Raze, Brimstone as well on the smokes, Cypher's your Sentinel, maybe a Deadlock if you're feeling confident with that pick. But I don't think either teams are going to roll with that today. We've got actually Seraphags on the Reyna, which is really, really exciting to see. Seraphags has been such a consistent fragger this tournament. So putting them in the hands of Reyna with those dismisses and those devours in hand is going to be a lethal situation for Control Esports to deal with.
Is that another Phoenix that spot?
It is.
That's another Phoenix.
It is. That is Granny Knockers Phoenix.
It is Granny Knockers Phoenix. We were surprised to see it earlier on. It's going to happen again. We're going to get the Phoenix through. Did quite work out for Control. It's Control that's taken it this time. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is Granny Knockers. It's just,
Oh,
their teams are
that's fine. That's okay. That's okay.
Swapped over. But yeah, it's Jay in the hands of Phoenix this time. Last game they swapped the Phoenix onto counter when they were playing earlier today. But yeah, back in the hands of Jay, who's definitely going to be as aggressive as always, especially when they've got to run it back.
I think I like it in the hands of Jay a bit more, I think.
Yeah. We've seen what he can do on Jet.
Yeah, we've seen what they can do, and I'm fancying Granny Knockers for this one. Have you got any predictions, anything you kind of think would be
I think Granny Knockers are going to go absolutely crazy. But I think we're going to be seeing a top frag of this game from Seraphags on that Reyna. And Reyna's not too popular in pro play anymore, as people have realised that all the Reyna strategy is Reyna go kill. You just leer and you hope for the best, you get those kills. But they don't really provide that much utility unless they're actually getting the kills, because 2 of their abilities are solely reliant on you getting those frags. And if you don't find them, you just sink.
Well, very bold for Sarah to have frags in their name, so let's see if they can come up and put their money where their mouth is. Starting off though on the pistol round, setting things up for a B push. So far, Jay leading the charge at this moment in time, but we'll be slowed down just for now. The wire in the way, just to stop them from pushing too quickly. Sarah Frags is the one right at the end that will be meeting them with some aggression, swinging out towards that push. For now, just holding out. Nothing really occurring in the opening kind of minute so far. The first one will fall. It'll be Sarah Frags. Unfortunately, the Reyna will fall first, and Stike is the one that comes out on top here, but deep from above. Aki does strike and deals with Stike. 4 versus 4 now. Noah and Crab will find one. It's a back and forward situation, and the aggression will start coming through, and the last player will be standing. Yes, of course, Control Esports in a 1 versus 3 situation, but Granny's Knockers are going to come out on top. Counter with the final shot onto Pawlowski. Finishes that one off, and they get off to a good start here on Fracture in their map pick.
Yeah, slow approach from Granny's Knockers, entering B main there, just tucking one player into that right little pocket while they're pushing up. Seraphrag's not finding the kill, allowing them to enter the site, but Counter did have an interesting one-way cyber cage setup.
Yeah.
Players, it did lead to 1 kill for Counter, but yeah, I think the rest of the players just waited it out and all ran completely around it.
Yeah.
Pushing straight behind Generator, just making sure that Control didn't have any space to work with.
Certainly did. Slight change this time though. Trying it up on a different side for now. So they're spreading things out. So they haven't really quite committed to what the push is going to be as of yet. Looks as though A could be where they're thinking about. Pawlowski though will be around the corner, just waiting for them to come round. No one though is going to get round yet. Though the big flank as well at the top round towards B. It looks as though they're thinking that they might be pulling out a little bit of a bait here towards A, as they do have that spike up towards the B side. Seraphrag's with the swing out, finds Crab, and Tiny immediately just behind finds Gogs. Tiny with another one, that's 2 in the round. I do apologise. His stake though finds Pawlowski, and that means we're down to a 3 versus 4 scenario. Granny's Knockers looking up against it inside of this round. They tried something there, and A is now where they're going to have to send their commitment now. There's only 1 member there just for now, and Stike will shut down Henny, so they even up the scoreboard. 3 versus 3, the plant will go down. So a little bit of a recovery here for Granny's Knockers, but Ake has the high ground and can't quite spot anything because Phoenix has blocked the vision for now. And Seraphrag's now makes their way back towards the site. Cage will go down, and that will cut some of that vision for now. Seraphrag's will find Jay, last player standing. Fortunately not enough. His Control, they just push in, retake the site, and they will be able to recover that one and get their first round on the board and Fracture.
Well played from Control Esports to take back that second round after Granny's Knockers won that pistol. Nice little thrifty for them. As they entered the sewer under B, it was a really close situation. It was just 2v2 approaching. Seraphrag's finding that first peak, getting that lovely little sheriff kill to start off the kills of the round. Followed up by Tiny managing to refrag after Seraph just missed. Just allowing them to have that complete man advantage heading onto the A site where the end of the round was fought.
Yeah, it's been a good start to the game, so a little bit more competitive, one apiece so far to start. Granny's Knockers got off to a good start on their first map. Very early on, it looks as though Control are not really going to give them that space early on. A side though, looks as though that could be the focus for now. Pawlowski just holding the angle, waiting for someone to peek round, and looks as though, you know what, actually it's a bait and switch. We're going to go around towards B and just full commitment round there now. Fully rotate everybody round. For now, only 2 members for Control on this side of the map. Is Seraphrag's on the Reyna, like we mentioned, has to get the kills to get the most out of this agent, and they can see them tantalisingly close through that wall before they come round the corner. Seraphrag's now swinging out. Would have spotted them a second earlier, but the Valorant timing there comes through. As Counter now goes down stairs and towards tunnel, and we'll see if they can get a little bit of a rotate. Instead we'll pull back. And still, as of yet, nothing really coming to fruition here for either side, as Control has that one set up again. The cyber cage will slow things down, but Stike doesn't care about it anyway. Will swing out and Seraphrag's though from behind has just managed to spot a weakness here, finds himself a 4K. Seraphrag's looking for the 5, it's an ace to start this off on this map. Control from nowhere, Seraphrag's on the Reyna on the ace.
Just like I was saying, Reyna is do everything or do nothing, and
yes.
Seraphrag's is doing everything. She popped off there. That was insane. What a fantastic ace on the 3rd round, buying that Vandal. Oh, what a brilliant decision for Seraphrag's there. Finding those first 2, swinging around and getting the planter, followed up by the defender off the planter. Oh wow, what an incredible ace for Seraphrag's there.
We finished the last map with an ace, and we're starting this map with an ace, so very much if you can do it, I can do it better situation.
It's definitely going to be a nice little ego boost for Seraphrag's entering this 4th round.
It certainly is. Pawlowski here feeling a little bit of pressure as it starts to mount towards the A hall, but no one's going to push on the back of that smoke. No one really wants to take it as of yet though, but the run it back will go through, and before it can even do anything, G is shut down. But of course, won't be killed off yet, though now be pushed through. Tiny finds himself 2, Counter with another one to Henny this time, and Gogs gets aggressive at the same time, and they're stacking up. It's a 3 versus 2 scenario. Tiny with another on to Counter, and Tiny on an angle here, waiting for them to continue this aggression. We'll find one, but they can't quite get the line up as Gogs comes out on top and brings it to a 2 versus 2 situation. Sarah Frags, though, of course, got the ace in the last round, so not the person you want left alive to try and deal with. Joined at the hip with Aki for now. Will claim the high ground. The spike will go down. As Sarah Frags just tries to figure out where they want to go for. Just double up together, make sure they have the cross angle, they rotate round, and Jay's waiting for it. The curveball goes round the corner, though, but Sarah Frags just misses the shots here. Jay, another one goes round, flashed into the corner, can't do anything about it. Jay comes out on top, Sarah Frags can't get an ace this time, can't get anything this time as Gogs finishes off Ake. And another round on the board here for Granny's Knockers. They even it up 2 apiece.
Really well played by Granny's Knockers there, just not halted by Control Esports defense there. Pawlowski using the Molotov, the incendiary grenade, just to slow down that push at the start so he could grab that orb. Yeah. It's very good, but the problem is, once that molly's gone down at the start, like, they're still in their spawn, they're still ready, waiting outside A main. Yeah. They know you're there now, and then they're going to push in with that, run it back. Pawlowski did actually kill that Phoenix, but, you know, as you know, run it back gives you another life.
Oh, of course.
So he came back with a vengeance, getting one of those 2 kills in that final 2v2 there.
Very good game to start, at least. Very good game to start. Different from what we had the last time. First, Granny's Knockers got off to a very good start. We are going to have a very quick tech pause, so you'll get to see our nice shiny faces. I say shiny for me, but it's just because I'm sweating right now. It's been a very hot day so far. But the game itself, though, has got off to a bit of a heater in this second map, which I'm glad we have that, because the last map, it did start a little bit concerning. Control showed a few bits of brilliance here and there, but Granny's Knockers looked comfortable in the last map, let's be honest. This one, it's looking a little bit more closer. Granny's Knockers, they've tried this fracture pick earlier versus Bleak, it didn't work. This time they've tried again, and so far it's not working for them yet. So what's the thinking with the fracture pick, you think?
I think the thinking the fracture pick is, is a map they are confident on, especially when they lost on it earlier. Yeah. They still looked good. Like they lost, but there were definitely strategies there. Even if they didn't work, I think that's because they were playing against Bleak, and Bleak just knew what they were doing. Whereas Control might not know what Granny Knocker's approach is, so they're able to apply their strategies here and just hopefully see them play out properly.
Well, I mean, we can only hope. Of course, we want as close a game as possible. Of course, you know, there's been a few games that have just been 2-0. They've just kind of finished it off, and we've kind of struggled to get ones that are a little bit more competitive here and there. But as a lower bracket, that's the good thing. This is where teams want to fight because they'll go home. As simple as that. That's it. There's no lives left. Earlier on, we're doing the upper bracket where people can be a little bit more chilled and they can take a little bit more risks. This time you'll be punished for it. You'll be heading home. It's the final one. We've already had people over there leave, and of course, right now, Yari, they're waiting to get themselves an opponent for the final because we've got 2 games. We've still got a game after this to finish. We've still got the lower bracket final, of course. Just to mention, whoever wins this will go on to face Bleak, and that's an opponent that we all know how well they've played, and it's quite surprising, of course, that they did fall down in that lower bracket. So, you know, what's the kind of mental like you think for Granny's Knockers or even Control if they do get through, like having to face against Bleak?
I think they're going to be excited, and they're definitely going to be prepping. Yeah, because they know that they've lost to Bleak, but they're not going to let it happen again.
I hope not. I hope
because they lost to Bleak twice now. They lost on the on the day 1 during those groups, and then earlier today just to put them into the lower bracket. Yeah. And if they get into the final, there's no way they're going to let that happen for a 3rd time. And I do have faith in Granny's Knockers. Yeah,
I mean, I can hope they do it. Yeah, I'm always, you know, in terms of when I've casted games, especially over the whole weekend, I've always been the one that's tried to be a little bit hopeful. So you get an underdog story, but I've yet to get one. I mean, the closest we've got is Bleak falling down into the lower bracket final. Of course, I'm hoping for an upset. We did see an upset if anyone's tuning in to see us going. We've seen an upset earlier on. One of the top teams went out in the very first round in the lower bracket. Yeah. Oh, wow. I don't remember who it was. Don't quote me on who it was, but that was one of the casters was feeding me that information that they'd went into the lower bracket thinking they were going to win, and unfortunately they left in the first one. So very kind of strange situation to find yourself in. Of course, just as a reminder, we are just in a little bit of a tech pause. Frozen PC is the issue. This is what can sometimes happen when we're playing on LAN. It's always a good thing about being on LAN. We're all playing together, we're all in the same room, we're all having a bit of vibes, but that can be tech issues. Yeah, that can happen. So
fortunately, we do have a good tech team on hand to solve any of those problems. So even
I've had a pretty seamless time actually. This is probably one of my first tech pauses. I think for now, are we just going to continue having a wee chat? I think we're just going to continue a wee chat, just for a few seconds. I think just because I don't think we think it's going to be too long. I don't think it's going to be all that long. And of course, we want to get as much airtime as possible, show off our gorgeous faces and our sweaty faces, and just for as long as possible. Well, we kind of chill out for a second and kind of regather ourselves as we got, I guess, get a little bit of a reset. Before we wait for us to happen, because it was a very quick start to the game, 2 rounds each, very different from what we expected to see, I guess, against going on the last map at least.
Yeah, definitely. This felt a bit more fast-paced.
Yeah.
Straight away.
That's what I mean.
That's
Fracture,
kind of the beauty of Fracture. Yeah, it is. It can be slow, you know, with teams just like poking at each of those 4 entries.
Yeah.
Or it could be so fast where it's all right. Both teams are just descending on the site from both entries.
I think so far we haven't seen obviously any kind of deep rotates using the ropes at all yet, and we do love to see them. We do love to see them. I think they're one of the best things about it. The fact that you can reposition quickly. It's kind of like Binds with the teleports as well. So I like the quick repositions that you can bring out. So we're back into the game though. That's enough time for us waffling. We've decided, you know what, I'm going to start the game off, and as you just pointed it out to me there, we can see them using the ropes to get to the other side. And I think they might change things around here for this attacking side for Granny's Knockers. So very quick aggression, not really want to waste any more of our time. As Counter finds himself a double kill to start things off after that very quick break there. But Tiny's going to pop round with a triple from nowhere, using the flash perfectly, but misses the shots. Unfortunately, won't collect himself the 4K. 2 versus 2. The scales balanced here. The lineup though, and it boils down to a 1 versus 1. Jay trying to find the shots onto Henny. Quite a bit of damage done onto them. Henny just can't seem to escape. Jay, the pistol in the hand, around the corner. Jay comes out on top. Granny's Knockers, they find that round after the tech pause.
Felt like that round could have gone either way. An absolute bloodshed on Arcade there. Popping that paint shell over by Dish just to suppress the defenders. Falling back round to help onto B Arcade. That was just crazy. Popping the Rolling Thunder to push them all back. Tiny finding that 3-piece. Excellent use of that ultimate. He's already back to 4 ult points. He just popped his Rolling Thunder and then found 3 kills on a death, putting him at halfway back to that extremely useful piece of utility to have in your arsenal.
Very well done. But unfortunately, Grounds Walkers, they won it anyway. So 3-2, currently the round count, and very fast pace, and they're not going to keep it up. It's a little bit slower here, as they just kind of wait just now for feeling this out. Is that a corner hold here? See from Counter, who could be absolutely massive here. Finds Henny looking for the second, but will be pushed back to their death as Sarah Frags hunts them down and balances the man count just now. 4 apiece as Jay and Co now want to try and take the A site. They've found this weakness here. They've managed to pull up a little bit of a bait by sending the Counter out to die. They claim the site for it as a reward, and Crab will attempt to get the plant down as Jay from above though finds 2 as Pabloski and Sarah Frags dealt with. Tiny though will shut Jay down before they can do any more damage, and 3 versus 2 scenario. Gogs Aki though with a double kill. And it's a 1 versus 1. Aki versus Gogs, but Gogs, he's not even going to give Aki a chance. Granny's Knockers, they take another round. 2 versus 4 now.
Yeah, really well played from Granny's Knockers. At the start of their counter, just getting that first pick from the defenders, just pushing out into A main. Finding that kill and then trying to quickly escape on the rope, but just got stunned and was just too slow. Couldn't do anything, especially when you're on that rope. Your accuracy is completely lowered. There's no way you can get a kill unless you're really lucky. And yeah, they then did find luck with the rest of the team pushing back through, getting multiple kills in sand, allowing easy access to the A site.
Very quick here push in towards A this side there. Pabloski just pushed back a little bit, courtesy of Stike, who gets very aggressive and looks as though this is where they're going for the field commitment. Sarah Frag shuts down Counter though, now towards the sand side. Izaki will find Stike and manages to 4 versus 3, but look at this, it's all back and forward, and we fell all the way down to a 1 versus 4 scenario for Jay, who just doesn't have anything to work with other than a run it back, sends it forward, it will be shut down, but that gives them an extra life, but that's all it gives them for now. Last goes round the corner, but it's not enough as Pavlovsky shuts it out. Control, they find 1 back. 4-3 now on the round count.
Yeah, their aggression there was completely halted. Aki had such a fantastic setup, just plopping that trap wire and the cyber cage right outside the choke point of A main. As soon as that player walked into it, they were absolutely doomed. Anyone coming from Sands as well just allowed Aki enough time to find that kill. Sarah to come in from drop and trade off that kill. That was fantastic work there from Control. Really good work, really good team synergy.
Yeah, much better. They find one back. They at least slow down Granny's knockers, maybe stop that momentum from building before it gets too worrisome. Serafrags thinking about going around that corner and finding them something here. Henny, though, with a really deep, long angle towards Jay, deals with the Phoenix before they can be a nuisance later on in the round. Serafrags now with a rotate round as well. But there's no one there other than that one player in the corner. Just chilling out. He's just waiting. For it to come to him, but it's not going to come yet. It's Pavlovsky now getting... just chilling out. They're kind of moving around a little bit here, just using the ropes. I want to see a little bit more of the repositions coming through, and that's what they do. They regroup towards that attacker side bridge and just make sure that they can get round towards B this time, as they've committed quite a lot of people towards A Control. I think they might be wise to it, because there has been a couple of rotates as well from their side. So 4 members on side for Granny's Knockers as they stack up together, and it seems as Control actually might have a bit of a mystery here, because B is fully clear, and all it takes is for Granny Knockers just to take some space and get in towards it. But Tiny knows something's up. He's the only one lurking out towards that side, and it looks as though Granny's Knockers are going for a bit of a strange way to do for this. They're just conga lining through the map for now, and they seem to have got towards B and thought, you know what, why are we getting this for free? What's going on? And then eventually they will go in and just plant on that area just now there, but we're going to send out their own thunder, and that'll be a bit of a nuisance to deal with as Tiny finds Gogs, and still Granny's Knockers dwindle on the numbers, and the retake though will have to try and come through from Control, but from above Stike tries to find one, but Crab finds 2 and balances it out, and it's all came all the way back into their favour. The retake is not there. Control, they unfortunately fluffed their lines, and Granny's Knockers, they take the round.
Thrifty round in the favour of Granny's Knockers this time, as Tiny's Rolling Thunder just doesn't capitalise the way they hoped. Finding that first pick onto Gogs, but it just couldn't do anything else. It allowed Pavlovsky to get head into Arcade, but he was made short work from Stike's Sheriff. The round just collapsed from there, really. The rest of the Granny's Knockers players just cleared them up.
It's a bit of a strange round as well. Granny's Knockers just moving around in a 4 stack, not wanting to join to the hip, holding each other's hands, and then eventually just realised, wait a minute, B's free, let's just go in and do something with it.
The thing was, Control had multiple players on that B side, but they just rotated them away, completely unaware of where Granny's Knockers were going to come from.
So unfortunate. However, this time, slower from Granny's Knockers. It looks as though B will be the focus again, as Control have dedicated a few people towards A and made the rotate round deep as well. Though Izaki gets aggressive here. Counter though will find Tiny in front of Serafrags on the counter, so an immediate refrag has been found. And some damage done as well. Serafrags though seems to want to go up towards the top there. Showstopper comes through, the spike is planted down. Serafrags will find Crab, and the retake has to happen soon. Serafrags now looking to get themselves some more. Will find Gogs this time, and they've boiled it down to a 2 versus 4 situation. Stike with 1 though, who shuts down Serafrags. It's going to be Jay to find the 2k, and look at this, it's a 1 versus 2 for the Cypher. Jay, massive play there to keep Granny's Knockers hold on the round and force this from Ake though, but he's going to find 1, and do they have the time to try and find the second one? Doesn't know exactly where Jay is, and the attackers of Granny's Knockers will win that one out. 6-3 now on the round count.
Yeah, really well played in that 1v2 situation. Granny's Knockers really taking advantage of that, just using the raise to peek initially. Even though they get dropped, the Phoenix knows that it doesn't have to peek straight away. Just waiting a few seconds, the clock is ticking. Spike's so close to being exploding. And doesn't need to peek so fast, even though that blast back is on the corner, which could have been a bit problematic. But Jay doesn't care, peeks and finds the kill onto Aki. Not able to get the defuse.
I mean, that's Jay pretty much encapsulated.
Yeah, just confidence. Jay oozes confidence, and especially there you can see it.
Certainly does here. Jay just round the corner here, send it around at the right time here. Henny tries to dodge away from it, but it can't do anything about it. It does actually. The Sheriff though, the triple from Henny shuts it down out towards that dish side. But Stike though will eventually pull Henny out of the round, but that leaves a 1 versus 3 scenario because Serafrag can shut down Stike and Ake finishes off counter. A thrifty round comes out from Control and they find 1 back. 4-6 now on Fracture.
I don't think I can count on one hand how many thrifty rounds we've had this tournament where other players have just decided to buy a Sheriff and it's paid off so well. And that is a perfect example. Henny just going absolutely crazy. Currently this game not having too much of an impact as their duelist, but as soon as you put Sheriff in their hands, they go crazy. Having to be put down with a showstopper because they're just too afraid to peek with their rifle. Having to pop that ult just because the Sheriff demon is lurking around the corner.
Yep, first didn't work out for Granny's knockers there with the showstopper, but Control, they'll be happy with that. They found one back. Aki with this, again, by Cam just spotting out that they will be approaching around that side there, and Aki will find the run it back and shut it down. Jay will be dealt with, and Sarah Frag's in a bit of a position here. We'll find counter for free and find a second as well as Gogsfeld. And now 3 versus 4 is the situation. We find ourselves in a hell of a lot of utility dedicated towards B to try and get something to work here for Guarani's knockers. Aki in a position inside the canteen, just holding on and waiting for someone to cross into their path and shut them down. Henny with a rotate as well has a hold to take the tower, and so Frags will find Crab and Tiny onto Jay, and there's only one member left alive, and it's a flawless actually from Control as they find themselves within 1 round of Granny's knockers.
Really good use of that Leer there from Sarah Frags. The best time to use it, because it can be shot out so easily. Most players, if you just Leer them in like a 1v1 situation, they'll shoot the Leer and then they'll reposition to shoot you.
Yeah.
But the best time to use a Leer is just when there's other things going on, the rest of your teammates are distracting for you. You pop that Leer in the air, it causes so much chaos and confusion. Players getting blind, they don't exactly know where to look. If they shoot the Leer, someone else is going to kill them.
Are we at a point where we can say that the Reyna has been beneficial? Are we at that point?
Oh
yet?
yeah,
18 and
definitely. It's definitely paid off. I think they picked it because, you know, they're in the losing position right now. They lost their map. They're on Granny Knocker's pick. They need to do something drastic and different. So picking the Reyna is probably something Granny Knockers aren't prepared for.
And it's working so far. They have got themselves within touching distance, so Granny Knockers will want to slow this momentum that Control have started to build. And while they do that, they're going to be really slow about it. They don't want to try and counter aggression with aggression. They are just going to play as slow as they like and take their time. Henny, though, is the one waiting for this to come through. The pressure will come through and push them back, and they will take that space that has just been vacated. Crab will still trying to slow it down. The smokes will come through, trying to deny as much as possible, but it just seems that Granny Knockers are going to continue to stream into the areas that they require. The guns will start to ring out, and Gogs will find the first one onto Henny. Drops him out. No Sheriff kills for you inside of this round. Stike with another, and Sarah Frags finds, of course, one of their own frags inside of this one is Jay Feld. They're going to find themselves a double, and Sarah with a triple onto Gogs at the same time, and eventually they'll be found out though. So 2 versus 1. Now it's a 1 versus none as the attackers of Granny's Knockers, they come out on top, and they find themselves 7 rounds to the 5 of Control.
Ending this half in a 7-5 situation for Granny's Knockers is a great place for them to be. I'd say Fracture is a bit of a 50-50 map, honestly. Like, when it comes to like high level play, yeah, it can kind of go either way. It's not like too defender biased, it's not too attacker biased. Especially with Reyna, Sarah Frags just absolutely popping off. Even though they only got 5 rounds here, I think plenty of that has to be a credit to Sarah Frags' complete confidence on this Reyna pick. Just that ace on the 3rd round. What way to start this game. And they are definitely putting on a show for everyone today.
Yeah, they're keeping it close at least, so 7-5 heading into the switch of sides. Now on the defense here, Granny's Knockers, they will commit quite a few players towards B, just the 2 for now. G on the high ground at this moment in time will send it the flash there and spots a player, at least finds 1, finds almost 2, but Pablo shuts it down before it gets any worse. Counter though shuts down the push at the top of the tower as well, and it is Henny and Pavlovsky. Sarah Frags will of course find their customary fag inside of this round onto Crab. There's a 2 versus 2 scenarios. Aki finds counter. Aki finds himself a double as well, and now is fallen into the lap of Stike to try and clutch this one up and pull it back. Granny's Knockers looked in a good position there for a minute, but Control have gained their control of this round and forced Stike to do something. But of course it is still the attacker's side. They need to get the spike down and force the retake from Stike, who knows that they are going to be in B. Heard it go down. The 2 of them are stacked up on one another, so Stike has to be wary of this. No utility available to them. Just going to have to raw face check this and hope that they can come out on top with the gun skill. Knows there's surely going to be one in the corner. Sees both of them there. Finds one. Can't they find the second? They do it! Granny Knockers! Stike! Beautifully done! 8-5 now. They will get the counter doofies off now, surely.
I was sure that round was going in favour of Control Esports, but no, Granny's Knockers proved me wrong. Just once again, they're just out of control this game. At the start, it was fantastic from Jay holding that, holding ropes outside B Arcade. using that flash peek after Henny tried to flush him out with the paint shells, but it just didn't do anything, as I think they threw it just a bit too deep, allowing Jay to get that flash and that trade kill. Yeah.
What a round. What a round. Aki finishing off and giving us a bit of a show there. Amazing stuff. We love to see it. Granny's Knockers 8-5 now. They're in the lead and looking pretty good for it. But B, again, seems to be the point of contention for Control. Just gobble up that ultimate orb. Just make sure that we get ever closer to that Roland Thunder should we need it later on. Pabloski. And rotate round. Down below. Still feeling each other out here. Sky Smoke will come through and it'll block the line of sight for Sarah Frags. Jay opens up the kill inside of this round and Pavlovsky sends out from the hot hand there just to make sure that we slow this down there, but they're surely up against it. Can't escape the clutches of Tiny. The Ghost goes straight into the back of their skull and that will even us up in that 4 versus 4 scenario. Gogs as well waiting for an opportunity to pop some of that utility. With a rotate round to your inside of tunnel for now. Tiny just moving round.
Right there.
Joined by Aki at the back side. Henny round towards tunnel 2. Looks as though this is where we want to move through. For now, we're in a 4 versus 4. A little bit of action and then a little bit of a lull in the round as both teams just kind of figure out where we want to go from. We still have Sarah Frags perched up towards A, give away their position, left. So Stike will know what is happening. Sarah Frags now go for the rotate round, and it looks like the call has been made that B is where they want to push from. The counter will slow it down a little bit here and finishes off one, but Henny's going to immediately come back, bites it back onto counter, and finishes one. Aki with another onto Gogs here. The long angle here from Crab, he's going to find one. He's found two actually, and it's a 2 versus 1 there. The reign of Sarah Frags has to try and clutch it up, but can't do that. And Granny's Knockers, they're going to take this one.
Yeah, Control Esports just playing that a little too slow there that round. I think the burst of aggression might have been what they needed, because even though they're at a disadvantage, they've seen what you know, the other team can do in these positions, and leaving it to the last minute to plant on the B cubby is just not the ideal position when the enemy breach is still alive and hasn't used that aftershock. Easily flushed out of that position. There is nowhere you can run other than out into the open. Just a firing squad ready.
Yep, unfortunately done. Making the most of the time that they had there as well. Granny's Knockers making sure that they collect the weaponry that they want, make sure they exit that round and as best a position as they possibly could, and then almost having a little bit of tussle as to who got to do the defuse as well.
Yeah, just who's going to get that nice little old point ready for themselves. Granny Knockers really looking to send Control Esports home.
They certainly are. 9-5 currently the score, and it looks as though the A side is where the push is going to be, but Granny Knockers, they went for a big rotate all the way around in towards the attacker's side bridge, just for now. And it looks as though this is a bit of a misplay here so far from Granny Knockers, but they come back towards the site as Aki finds Stike. This Crab now just thinking about going for a peek over. The bike will go down pretty much free as a bird. They managed to claim that entire site towards the A side for free. Guys, Knockers, they're going to have to rush in here and try and reclaim this. They're going to be forced into these awkward positions as counter now having to wade their way through so much utility to try and find something. Crab's going to find Henny. Pavlovsky with the kill onto Crab at the same time. Gogs though with the elimination onto Tiny, and J onto Sarah Frags gets 2. Pavlovsky Control, they've fluffed their lines a little bit here and left themselves in a 1 versus 3. Shortened manpower here as Gogs finishes it off. Aki dealt with, and Granny's Knockers, they go into 10 points to 5 of Control.
Such an interesting start to that round with Control. Aki just going across the rope and then hearing the 5 thundering footsteps of the entire enemy team coming round, just so instantly going, oh no, I better get out of here. Goes back across that rope and waits on the other side, where Stike makes an unfortunate decision to head onto that rope, meeting their demise in the abyss.
Yeah, very unfortunate, very strange, peculiar round, but that puts Granny Knockers in a good position to get them ever closer to winning this one out inside of 2 maps. 10-5 for now, and setting things up for an A push. It looks like it's going to be full commitment with the exception of 1 player, and now they're going to try and slow this down here. We're going to just try and deny this a little bit here, but nothing's going to happen for the side. Stike actually is going to find Henny. Crab with 1 onto Pavlovsky. Sarah Frags though, of course, ever present inside of these rounds, finds 1. It's a 4 versus 3 situation, the man count in the advantage of Granny's Knockers, and Jay's just getting on the hunt here. We're running back here, trying to find anything that they can claim, any single person that could be lurking around there, but there is no one to be found Sarah Frags and Co just try to kind of decide what they want to do with this. They've kind of went round to B and decided, you know, we think better of this. We're going to go back round towards our A side. We do have Aki still round in that position, and he claims to like J and evens it up into a 3 versus 3. Exactly Gogs knows where that came from though, so has at least the information. The Cyber Cage will deny at least a little bit of that intel. The ping will come through from the neural theft. Gogs though will be dealt with as a result of that. Stike Fiends won it onto Aki. It's an immediate trade. The plant will go down. Counter though. Just pushing it in towards that position. Paint Shells comes through as well to try and displace someone, but it's not going to happen. Sarah Frags will swing out from behind the side though. It's a back and forward here. Who's going to come at the top here? Surely it's going to be the top fragger for this lobby, Sarah Frags, but Counter will surely want to find one. Swings out there, will be Sarah Frags, and Control, they'll find one back. 6-10 now on Fracture.
Counter on the defense there, just having to play back, hiding into that corner once that layer pops, because they know as soon as they aim for it, they are going to be done for. Sarah Frags, absolute lethal shot, clutches the round up for them.
Yeah, it's been a bit of an iffy half actually for Sarah Frags. You've seen they dropped 21 kills, 21-7. They went in the first half. Second half they've kind of struggled, only 3 kills. And I say struggled, it's still 3 kills. It's still a decent return, but it's not been amazing for 4 rounds work.
We do have to note that Control did actually get the spike down on all 3 of those first rounds. They just lost their post plants.
Oh, Henny, he's gonna start. They're going to start things off very quickly here. Gogs and Stike taking out the round in the first 30 seconds. Crab though, holding the cross angle, waiting for the swing to come around to try and find something to bring it back into their favour. Henny's going to find himself their triple kill on the round. Aki with another one onto Jay, and Crab though wading through the smoke though, doesn't know where to look as Tiny finishes it off. It's a flawless round from nowhere for Control.
Complete different story as to what we've just been seeing in those first few rounds. Insanity.
Very strange. But it happens. Now, maybe that is a little wind underneath the wings of Control to see if they can come from behind and really land a few punches on Granny's knockers, because currently they were looking comfortable there. Now there's a couple of rounds maybe just to humble them out of you know, you've not won this yet, guys.
Yeah, both teams I think sitting fairly comfortable with their ultimates. 4 on either side, both rolling thunders in play. The key ultimates here on Fracture, just so good at stopping a push or initiating one, as well as that Brimstone's orbital strike, perfect for just stalling a team.
B seems to be the take this time, and J is dealt with in the first 30 seconds as well. So Frags finds the first kill, and it's Pawlowski with another one. Orbital strike does come through onto Counter, and 3 versus 5. Stike wading through the smokes to try and find something here. The plant will be going down there. Tiny with the spray through the smoke finds Crab, and we're 2 versus 5. Not looking too great for Granny's knockers. A little bit of an iffy part of this game for them. They really need to try and slow this down from Control. It just seemed to be way too quick for them to deal with anything. Like you mentioned, they have been able to get the spike down more often than not. The retakes have just been better for Granny's knockers. So far, the last 2 rounds, not been too great for them. Gogs finds Tiny, and that's at least one back, at least a lifeline maybe inside of this round. The Stike sends out some of the shots with the Sheriff and it gives away their position. Sarah Frag swings out and misses all of their shots and will meet their demise as a result of it. But there's just not going to be enough time to win this one out. It's just exit frags at this point. Team Ace comes through and Control. They claw another one back and get ever closer to evening up this score with 8-10 currently in Fracture.
Very unsurprising Team Ace there from Control Esports, just positioning himself so well whilst entering that site, using every piece of utility to clear out each angle.
Ooh.
But we've got sudden timeout from Granny's Knockers. Stike calling this one, probably just to discuss the fact that they had such a good lead, but have suddenly just dropped the ball, giving 3 rounds to Control. Especially the last 2, they looked pretty strong. I know the first one, the Control one, did come down to a 1v1 situation. But those last 2 rounds were pretty dominant in Control's favour, so Granny Knockers are probably just having a nice little chat about how they can address this issue.
I think that's exactly what they'll be doing. I think you've hit the nail right on the head with that one. They've been struggling a little bit the last few rounds, and they just want to, even a basic thing, even if there is discussions, of course, as to what they're going to do, but even the simplest thing of just slowing down momentum, that's 3 rounds flush that we've just seen from Control. They've looked really, really good. So even just taking a time out just to say, like, you know, settle down, guys. You know, just take a break. Just take a wee break. You know, force the break from them, and maybe that'll just be enough to edge it here for Granny's Knockers. And we'll see how it works out, though. Of course, back into the game. The timeout is now over and out, and we'll see how this plays out now.
Yeah, so just heading into this round here, after Granny Knocker's timeout, they've probably just come up with a fresh new strategy, how to use these 4 ultimates in their arsenal to swiftly dispose of control and put the lead back in their favour.
Yes, they certainly will give it a try there. Elbow strike comes through and it'll deny quite a few people. Strike will find Tiny, like I highlighted, Delt's coming through. Stick with another one as well. Gogs onto Henny, and it looks as though Granny's Knocker's timeout has paid dividends so far. 2 members left alive for control. Sarah Frags, who has been so pivotal inside this game for control, has to make sure to check the corners here. Gogs is going to play the bait game for Crab and goes around the corner there, and it will work perfectly. Red there. Crab rewarded for that little bit of a link-up play. The bait there working beautifully as Aki makes the rotate round towards the tunnel side. Spots one counter popping out with a kill and finishes it. Flawless round there after the timeout. Beautifully done for Granny's Knockers, and that puts him onto 11-8 currently.
Just like you mentioned, that did pay off so well for Granny's Knockers. Evidently came up with a fantastic plan, realised what Control Esports had been doing on their approaches to their sites, and just completely stopping the execute before he can even begin. Using that orbital strike to push them out of A main, knowing Stike can pop his showstopper and just head straight down and find a free kill at the very start of the round there.
Yeah. So, where do we go now for Control? They've been slowed down a little bit here, and it looks as though they're going to continue with that aggression. Gogstroll from behind will find Sarah Frags, and that is a worrisome player dealt with very early on. Counter looking for another one, has the information. Henny this time is felled, looking for more as they continue the swings and continues the pressure to slow down this push from Control. Pawlowski bites one back as a lifeline inside of this round. For now, as Tiny has a longer angle, just waiting for someone to maybe over peak from the side of Granny's Knockers, but no one's going to do that just yet. Not going to be rewarded. As Aki thinking about going through a tunnel. Not going to move just now as they just decide what they want to do with this. The regroup has happened towards the B side, and it looks as though that is where they want to go from B main. A push from Stike here could be rewarded if they just go around the corner. It's so tantalisingly close to them there, but Tiny knows what's up, knew that the flank was going to be coming there. The double up Gogs will find Tiny. The call was made there. The 2 players are lurking inside of tunnel. They'll know exactly where they are. It's a 2 versus 2 scenario. The Neuro Theft come through, so the information will be fed back to them, and both teams will know where each other are and where the push is going to come from. As Gogs just wants to link up here with a cross angle, wait for Aki to push through. Sends out the smoke there just to make sure that they are just making it a little bit more difficult and a little bit more worrisome for them to push up there. Misses the shots as well, and now they're in the position to get the plant down onto that cubby. Instead, they're actually going to go for that just default plant just in the middle there. Pawlowski gets it down. Jay's eventually made their way back. I don't know where he's been for this in the entirety of this round, but eventually does join the party towards the B side. 2 members versus 2. Back and forward shots come through. Aki comes out on top versus Gog, but Jay's there for the refrag immediately and boils it down to a 1 versus 1 scenario. And sends out at least a little bit of utility, but can't come out on top here. Pawlowski finds it and finishes off Jay, and the attacking side of Control, they find another one. It's 11-9 here on Fracture. Very close game so far.
It's unfortunate. I know you mentioned you didn't know where Jay was, but I think I spotted what he was doing. So that they knew that the both of them were down in the underpass area. Unsure if they were actually going to hit B, so Jay just sitting back in arcade, just like hiding back round. He was watching under just to make sure that they didn't push back round. There probably wasn't enough time to do that, so maybe he could have just gone to the site. But I think once their Brimstone confirmed that both sets of steps were on that site, Jay pushed in to help, but sadly didn't pay off.
Yeah, just arriving the party a little bit too late, but it happens. There's a little bit of a misread this time though. They will be slowed at the first step here, Control, as they attempted to take the space towards A, and instead they'll be forced around, and they're just going to go for the slow hook all the way around instead. They're not interested in going for A. It's almost like, it is genuinely almost a cat and mouse situation, as almost all of Granny's Knockers are also making the same rotate round behind Control. They need to be careful here. They need to pay the respect here to this scenario. The utility will come out from behind, and that gives away the position that the jig is up. They'll know exactly what's happening here. Crab finds Sarah Frags, Jay with one onto Pawlowski, and Aki at least finds one back, so it's not all is lost yet inside of this round, but it's not going to be a swing all the way into favour of Control, as quite a few kills come across the board, leaving Gogs and Jay in a situation that they've been in before. Aki killing off Gogs. There was an opportunity there for Granny's knockers, but the plant will go down here, and it looks as though Jay's going to have a big clutch on their hands to try and bring this one back here and stop Control from getting closer and closer to the position on the round count that Granny's knockers currently have, and close the gap on them. But Jay doesn't want smoke, just doesn't want to go for it. I think at this point he's almost going to give up and not really over peak. I think at this point he knows the round's gone and pulls it back, and that is going to be the scenario that we find ourselves in. Granny's knockers 11 to 10 of Control.
Yeah, Jay just taking the safety option of just saving the rifle. Nearing the end of the match, there's not many rounds left to go, especially if they lose this. They're going to be in an economic disadvantage. So saving that rifle, it's going to be a big deal, especially in the hands of Jay, who we've seen is just great at getting some kills for their team. Yeah, that was really surprising that Control Esports came out on top there. I think if it wasn't for the absolute counter Rolling Thunder that came in, they would have been in a whole world of trouble. But that Rolling Thunder allowed Henny to find those kills, to keep Control alive and take the site.
Yeah, I mean, we highlighted Sarah Frags having a wonderful time, 25 and 5. They've struggled in the second half a little bit, but Aki's been a bit of a slow burner. Had a few highlight moments and is now kind of edging up the scoreboard there. You can see 21-15 just now, almost getting to the point where they can maybe displace Sarah Frags if this does continue to go. Push though seems to be an A side as Jay just edging around the corner, knows where it's going to be coming from. Waiting to send the flash round, or send it around, flash 3 people, but can't come out. Tiny just coming out on top versus Jay. An unfortunate misread there. Counter are going to get themselves into a little bit of a wrap position below and just wait it out on this. Has an opportunity here. This could be absolutely massive. Misses the shots there. Have to get the kill in. It's actually Stike to find Tiny. Zero frags with one. Counter with another. Henny onto Crab. And it's coming down to a 1 versus 3 situation in favour of Control there. Gogs has to try and clutch this one up. Can't find anything at all though. It seems as everybody just wants to fluff their lines inside of this round. What is happening?
That was such an absolute chaotic round there. Just what happened there, Crab? What happened? Like, he was in the perfect position to find that kill onto Tiny, but oh my god, yeah. He just couldn't find it. He just his counter just missed those 3 shots. He set up both of his trap wires outside of A main, and then none of the players pushing from there. All 5 descending from Dish. And they just panicked, couldn't find those kills. Luckily it was traded out, but ultimately it didn't matter as they did lose the round. Equalising at 11-11 now. One team is going to be reaching match point.
They certainly are. Very sticky situation there. Stike spots someone on the ropes there but can't land any shots. They escape the Vandal for now. And just deciding what they want to do with this for now. It looks for now they're currently towards B side, and it looks as though the attacking side of Control have at least managed to see and spot a gap in the armour here on that A side, because there's only one player currently dedicated to holding on to that. It is Crab, who will have those ears perched up listening it out. The Sky Smokes come out to deny that upper position to make sure that they can't get the covering angle. There's set of frags there with a 2-tap into the head of Jay. Takes them right out of the round, and this could be a situation that gets Control into the lead for the first time in so long on Fracture. This plant is down. The spike has to be reclaimed here, and Tiny's got himself in a great position just below there, but has to try and find something. But the high ground advantage comes up big here for Stike and Counter. But Sarah frags with another one. It's Gogs this time that's killed off, and now the situation, we find a little bit of a 2 versus 2 coming in. It goes back and forward. Counter with one onto Sarah frags, and now check the corner though. Aki finds Stike. And it's looking like this could be another round for Control, as they just can't do anything for Granny's knockers. Counter dealt with, and Aki could find that one, and match point. Surprisingly enough, it's going to be Control.
Chow, I think we might be heading into bind.
I think we might
Control are looking so strong here. I thought that Sarah Frags was going to be the complete, so strong here, but turns out Aki has been the real star of the second half. But Sarah Frags getting the triple here, popping that Empress and finding those kills for the team was really essential in winning that round. But yeah, we can't count out Aki, who has done such a fantastic job this half in keeping Control Esports in the game.
Certainly have done that, and that means they might get on to bind here. Unfortunately for Granny's Knockers, they won't want that though. They still have a chance, they're still alive and kick in. Only the one round. That's all they need to win to pull this into OT. Set up though towards A seems to be where Granny's Knockers are just going to lurk for now. Set of frags around towards B, leading the charge. There's only 2 members left on side towards that attacker spawn. B though seems as though where they want to set it up, but nothing really happening yet. Very quiet, very tentative just now. Both teams feeling each other out. They don't want to be the first one to drop a player in this match point. Henny though will almost get themselves into an engagement with the Stike, the utility in the hand, ready to send it out. Will send it deep and forces Henny back a little bit. His Gogs as well, ready with theirs in the hand. Aki now, who's been so crucial in the second half, going to lead the charge, and now they have activated. The push will come in towards B, and it looks as though they will be setting up to get that spike on the floor. Granny's Knockers have gave way too much space so far to control on the second half. They need to slow this down as counter finds Sarah frags. The spike is down. And now the retake potential is there. Stike finds Henny, and control started to dwindle on the numbers. The showstopper comes out there. Gogs finds one, control with another, Tiny with another. Aki, who's been so crucial, finds Crab, has to try and clutch it up, but no, we are going to go to overtime here.
Heading to our first overtime of our series, and wow, this is going to be a great show. Granny's Knockers and Control Esports putting in such a good fight. Both teams.
Switching sides.
Looked like Granny Knockers were falling there, just losing 4 rounds in a row, only finding 1 in the last 8. But then they just come through and find that last round that they needed. Brilliant work from Granny's Knockers.
Absolutely massive. So 12-12, poised to go into overtime. 2 rounds now is required. 2 rounds in a row to try and win this one out and finish it off. Will it be Granny's Knockers to deny control getting on to bind, or will we see a third map for this evening and maybe potentially not give the teams as much a break as they thought they would get?
So yeah, if we see Control Esports take this, we will be heading into that third map. But Granny's Knockers evidently looking so determined to just finish it now and send Control Esports home.
Again, very tentative on the start. It's the same as the last round. No one wants to concede very quickly. They don't want to lose that player at the start. They don't want to be the first one to make the mistake. Zaki is sitting on the spy cam, spots it out, knows where the push was coming from. Now the call we made, and you can see the rotates around as well to try and shore up that side, but it's actually a bait and switch. They're not going to go for the B push. Instead, they're going to move around. Move all the way towards A. They do have 1 member on that side, Granny's Knockers. They have 1 member across towards the B side, gathering a little bit of information on their side. But still, both teams just being careful with it. Really, they don't want to be the first one to make a mistake. Don't be the first one for them to fall. Jay flash around the corner, smokes go out as well. High ground almost established, and it looks as though Granny's Knockers are struggling to decide where they want to go for the push here. Another switch around, back towards B they go. Is this the double bait and switch? Is this what's happening here? Is this what they're setting up to do?
Yeah, it looks like they could be doing that. With Aki just having to retreat a little bit, popping his cyber cages, worrying the push is coming in. Crab finds the first kill, Sarah frags, refrags, and now is looking with a free dismiss at her disposal, but gets flashed and Gogs finds the kill.
Another one there, and does he push them back into that corner? Jay now looking to get the plant down. Pinchos goes deep, and it's almost undeniable. Spike won't be shut down there. Jay can't escape the clutches of the orbital strike, unfortunately for them. It's Tiny perfectly set that up. Plant though was successful, so the job was done. 3 versus 3. Not looking too great for the HP, the raise though. Back and forward as Tiny finds God. Counter with 1 on the hay though. Stike with 2 to finish it off. And Granny's Knockers, they're going to put themselves onto match point there. And not just match point, series point this time.
Match point.
Granny's Knockers evidently not going down without a fight. Stike getting some fantastic kills there, just repositioning themselves at the back of arcade, knowing that those players are going to have to enter that site from that angle. And yeah, just finishing up, cleaning up. Yeah. Lovely shots from Stike there.
What a fight back though. So far, that was from Granny's Knockers. They were doing really well. Then they were struggling for a bit. Looked as though Control were going to lock it off and get us on a bind, but now they've fought this one back into their territory. They're leading the way now. Just one more round and they secure themselves that lower bracket final. J feeling a little bit of pressure towards A now, and that looks as though it's a full commitment from Control, not wanting to go for any changes of the positioning at all. They want to send all 5 members into the gauntlet here, and they have claimed the A site for their own, but from above, Counter will find Pawlowski, the first kill in what could be the final round here. Doesn't know how close Henny is, who will come out on top. Evens it up, it's a 4 versus 4. Crab repositioning takes the space that was just recently vacated by the corpse of the previous player. Jay though looking to try and deny something, sends out the molly, but can't push anything. Gogs will find Sarah frags though, and it's a little bit of a fluff as we go back and forward, and the attackers are going to win this one out. We are staying in overtime. Aki wants to keep us on Fracture.
Putting in so much work for the team. Aki this half. Wow, Aki reaching 30 kills, matching Sarah frags. Just fantastic work there, making such short work of the enemies. Really utilising drop on that attack there. Taking Granny's knockers. Completely blindsided. Yeah, I just can't believe this game is going into... How long do you think this overtime is going to go?
Well, you know, we've not really had many overtimes. We've had one overtime the entire we've had, and it was 15-13 in the final one. So
Yeah.
the thing is, though, is that we are approaching the very late stages of the day, and this is where overtimes happen. This is where teams just feel the need to just constantly get us on the maps for as long as possible when they know we've been here for a long time. Just mistakes being made on either side, and that does tend to happen at the end of the day. The last kind of dying embers of the games, that's usually what happens here. But into this particular round, of course, 13-13, Counter will find the first one. That's Henny to be dealt with. The Rays shut down before they can make any impact. And the second one, Counter finds Pawlowski this time. And that means that they have a good footing inside of this round. And full control of B as a result of that. Aki trying to find something as well. He's been so crucial for this second half of the game. Tiny round towards Counter at the other side. And it's looking like a situation that could really go either way right now. Granny's Knockers, they have a position, they have a good man advantage for now, but Jay though, he's going to find Sarah frags, who doesn't quite check the corner. Didn't matter that they were flashed out there, sends up another one around the corner. Tiny shuts down Jay, and it's a 1 versus 3 scenario. Clutch potential there for Gogs, try and find something. Tiny, no, he's going to find Stike, but it's not enough. Unfortunately, I think Granny's Knockers though will take this one just because they're not going to check the right corner here. Crab has maybe going to get a freebie onto Tiny, doesn't know where to look. The position's given away. Gogs actually from nowhere going to find it. And attackers of Granny's Knockers, they're going to take us and continue through another match point this time.
I have to give such props to Counter there. Just on that lurk on the B, all of his teammates on the A side of the map, 2 on drop and 2 in main, just waiting. As soon as Counter gets that first kill, the defenders, they're not too fussed, but they find another kill on the Brimstone, who's waiting for him, and that draws over Tiny and Sarah frags to have to go and deal with Counter, who they know is just going to come in the backline at the worst time, which allows the rest of the team to descend on the site and get that plant down.
Certainly does. You highlight a very great point there, but this round, no one wants to be quick with it. They're taking their time here, Control on the attack, of course, just moving around and filtering towards E just now. But there's quite a few members there for Granny's Knockers, setting at a good position to try and deny this as Sarah Frags opens up the doorway and pushes towards that top end. Crab, though, from above is a good position, though. Sends out the smoke just to make sure that they're covered off. Last pack though up towards a good position there. Great reposition from Henny, who finds Jay, but Gogs will shut them down before they can do any more damage. It's a 4 versus 4 scenario as we find ourselves with the spike carrier being killed off. Crab with a massive double. Eventually he's found out. It's a 2 versus 1 situation for Control here. Aki, who's been so instrumental in this second half, has to come up massive to keep them in it and keep them alive and kicking and get them onto bind, because Granny's Knockers, they look to get this one out. The position is not favouring Aki though. The spike is known, it's on the floor around the corner, and Granny's Knockers are not interested in about protecting it just at this second. They will just allow Aki to move round and maybe reclaim it, because that door will open up if it gets too close, but manages to move before it does, reclaims the spike, and then slowly does it back round towards A, making sure not to give away any semblance of intel to these
10
two
seconds
members.
left.
But there's 10 seconds. It looks like the clock could be their biggest enemy here for Aki. They hear the sound cue. Goss goes on the hunt to try and find one. It's Aki to find one. He wants to try and keep them on it, but it's not going to be enough. The defenders are going to win it on time here. Granny's Knockers, they finish it.
And Granny's Knockers take the series straight into the next game for them.
Wow. Well, they got themselves a little bit of a break. They
Yeah.
stop themselves from going into bind. They got a 40-minute break at least. So they at least stopped them going into a third map, and
Oh, yeah.
well, we get a little bit of a break as well. But we won't keep you too long. I'm a little bit exhausted. I don't know about you. I think that's
What a
almost time
great
for
set of
bedtime
games
for that. I think it is. We do have one more game before we finish it off. It was a great game to finish on. I finally got an overtime. I've been waiting for it. I've been waiting for something the whole weekend to get one. We get it right on the death. But the lower bracket final then, Granny's Knockers, going to be versus Bleak. And but that's going to be it from us tonight. That's going to be us for us two. You're going to have two slightly different casters. I believe it's going to be Affinity who's joining us again in winter to be the casters for this evening. So thank you very much for having us. I've been Chamberine, joined by Mido. Anything you want to say before you go?
No, not really. I'm good. But yeah, we will be back at 10 for that final game.
We certainly will. Thank you very much. Much love. Bye bye.
Thank you.